Knock,
Yes.
tell someone watching this from your perspective what to do.
The younger generation, or which generation are we referring to?
Well, look, I mean, the idea was, so before you came in, I was just saying that, look, I don't know, I don't want to include you in this, but certainly the rest of us are old, and we have the benefit of hindsight and perspective, and that's something you don't have when you're younger. And we all know we've tried to tell younger people, be them our own children or young people, and we try to, and for God's sake, for the love of God, you cannot tell people the thing that they really need to know. So being that the case, help.
Well, actually, I'm 49, so I feel like I'm in the sandwich. You know, I have a 13-year-old, I have my mom, I have my great grandparents, and I feel like I'm right in the middle. And I
Okay.
connect with the younger generation because I've lived through it, and I teach them based on my experience. And then I deal with the other spectrum, which is, you know, my great grandmother is turning 90 next month. My great grandfather lived to 94. And so we went through the stages of elderly care where he had to go to a rehab place because he fell and he needed rehab and he hated it, wanted to go home. And so we brought him home, but that was a lot for my great grandmother to care for him at home. So then we had to hire caregivers around the clock. And so I've seen it, right? I've experienced it in my own personal life, how that just affects the entire family, financially, emotionally. And then we also had to give support to my great grandma because, you know, she's caring for her husband. So, so I would just say the earlier you start planning for these things, the better, because time is your most valuable asset, right? So when you start planning early, you just have more options when you get older. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen in the stock market or taxes or our own health, but hope is not a plan, right? So anything you can plan, it helps you, it helps your family so they don't have to scramble. So whether that's planning for end of life care or living trust, living will, putting everything in order, that just reduces the amount of stress that may happen when a curveball happens. And so
no, sorry, Karen.
I just thought of an idea, because I totally relate to what you're saying, Knock. I thought to myself, and I've said this a couple of times in fun, but in jest, but it really is true. I think because you don't really know what your sons or daughters or grandchildren or whoever, how they can handle your stuff, you know, if you go. I think that maybe a good way to tell people who are looking at that now is to say, you better make sure that you have everything in place to take care of yourself when you get to the place where you can't take care of yourself, or you're going to have to rely on whatever it is that you think your kids can pull together. That's really a scary thought.
Or the government, right?
Yeah, okay. So much is going on. I was going to throw in one bombshell, but I'm going to throw in a different one instead. So, oh no, I've lost my train of thought. My God, the horror. No, it's gone. What were you in the middle of talking about before I interrupted you, Edie?
But that thought, that kind of thinking, at least if you can't get to them any other way, is a good way to make them think about it.
So the question is, both you and Nyok have dealt with the requirement of end of life planning.